good to have you. It's our live audience Wednesday on Your View TVC. I am Tokpe Mark Odige, and I don't do this alone. I have the beautiful ladies here, and we have specifically, Lady Omeri. How many things are you doing, sir?
Radio, TV.
Everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
Looking beautiful as usual.
Media personality.
Yes. Good to see you.
Great to be
Thanks
here.
for joining us
Thank you
last
very
minute,
much.
I know.
I know.
Nima can't be here, you know. I
Yeah,
thought
so
they said they're
Nima
taking
was-
all the trailers away, but
Yeah. So Nima is stuck in traffic. She can't come to work. She can't even go back. She says that I should please make sure I say this, that all the tankers and all the trucks are blocking the road from Badagry Expressway through Trade Fair all the way to Mile 2. Wow. All the tankers that we don't see on Western Avenue seem to have moved to that place. So while people like us are getting free-flowing traffic now, they are stuck, and this has been happening since Monday. They are in the inner streets as well, or Ojo Road, everywhere. Commuters, pedestrians can't move.
that's why she
the
says that
situation
area
right
is
now.
abandoned, because obviously they cleared it off and one side, and then they bring it to another side. It's really bad. And I know that road. It's not like you can turn off. If you are in, you are in.
Yes.
You're locked.
Yes, there's
It's
no way
really
to
bad.
turn
Our
off.
heart goes out to all those that live there. Nima, we love you, and we understand you would have been here if you
The
can.
governor, we know you've been there before. Please just help
do
us
the needful.
do the needful.
Obi Ajulu. You know, as in, like every time I see you, my heart is. I'm wondering how you're feeling.
Your
If
heart skips, right? I'm all right, Jerry.
I said to your husband, I told your husband that she should be proud of you, that you did a good job. You're like still doing well on the show, because honestly, our lives are in our phones, so it's, I couldn't even reach you.
Is just there.
Your phone was stolen.
Yes.
Oh my
in
gosh, I'm
traffic.
sorry about that.
As early as 6 a.m. Everything. But I was able to. I mean, leave me. I'm not even telling you. Thank you. I was able to at least retrieve my line yesterday, so I'm just hoping for a new phone so that I can, you know, probably. I hope I get all my contacts back.
Yeah, if it's backed up, I'm sure you will.
I don't know if it's backed up. I can't remember.
A lot of us are lazy phone users. We just have the phone and never just
No,
back
but
up
you
on
know that's
iCloud
the
and stuff
funny
like
thing.
that. And we should, really.
Yeah, it should automatically back up to your email.
For
Yes, so I
contacts,
expect for
that should
contact at
happen.
least, yes.
But pictures and all those,
I
all
mean,
your
like,
messages,
use them.
all your chats you've had with your people that you're coaching,
I may likely lose all of them.
it's gone.
As well.
Yes.
Sorry.
Mariam.
Day.
Yes, it's a
you.
beautiful
It's a
day.
beautiful day. It's my post-wedding anniversary
What
day.
happened yesterday? Give us the gist.
So I had suya, because that's the only thing right now I'm allowed to eat, or allow myself to eat. So I had a lot. I had too much suya, and it's just sitting in my stomach. I need to go. Sorry.
Where is the store?
So yeah, that's it. But today I just wanted to mention that I find a lot of people in traffic, they wear their headphones both on. And today we drove behind two people who we had to honk the horn several times before they realized. I just need us to be more careful, please, when you're walking on the streets and you have your headphones on. You could just take one ear out so you don't, you know, accidents
Get
happen.
yourself
please,
killed.
yeah.
That's very, very good. Mary.
You know, it's quite coincidental that she would mention this, because I said this earlier as well.
Oh, today?
Yes, apparently we almost had an accident heading here this morning.
Wow.
So some guy was walking directly under the pedestrian bridge. That's one. Two, he had his earphones plugged in.
While you're walking.
Three, he was walking, like, you know, you're jaywalking, that's bad enough. But then you're using your phone,
Oh, God.
listening to music,
Yeah.
and walking directly under a
Two people
pedestrian
today,
bridge.
actually,
We
like today.
barely missed him. Barely.
Was he on a death wish
You
or
know,
something?
but the thing is, I think that
No,
Nigerians,
well,
that when the bridges are there, let's not be lazy, let's use it. I know that we will feel like, oh, it will hurt my leg and all of that, but then
Who does
they're
not?
getting good things, exercise, and as well protecting your lives.
But you shouldn't even be walking with your phone.
That's
Get
another point.
distracted easily now.
You know, but
so
then
you're getting
today,
distracted. Oh, sorry.
you know, today is a special day. It's a
Yes,
public
it is.
holiday. Most of you are at home watching us, but we need to, thank Cadbury Bonvita for giving all our audience drinks, and we're also going to get ours during the break. Thanks to Cadbury Bonvita, we are enjoying this morning. Also, we have a news mention. As you all know, today we join the rest of Nigerians in commemorating June 12th, which is in honor of late MK Abiola, who was the winner of the inconclusive 1993 Nigerian election. I feel that this is a long time coming, and we've been waiting for a momentous national moment to celebrate this unity, this point in Nigerian history that we would all remember that we all gather together, regardless of north, south, east, west, to vote for someone, and we mustn't forget it, and we mustn't make it look like it's for one person or the other person. It is for Nigeria, that we can't put aside differences and work together. It's a major one. You wanted to add something?
I'm happy with the celebration, but I also would like us to remember all those who fought for
alongside
for our democracy. So it's not just one person.
Yes, all the Nadeko chiefs, everybody that also made the sacrifice.
Remember them, and also
Very
know
important.
that democracy is not just about lip service. Are we really following the tenets of democracy? We should look inwards and ask ourselves this question.
Fantastic.
And earlier we were saying that, okay, now we have a day, we are celebrating it, we commemorate it, then what? We need to be able to build on this. This stands for unity in spite of your religion or where you're from. So let us see this, because now it's as if almost every problem we have, we are discussing along religious lines. Oh, it's because they are Muslims, or because they are Christians, or because they are Northerners, or because they are Southerners. Can we just move on from, you know, what this day represents, where we can be united and work together?
Fantastic.
Today is very significant in many ways. So it's great to see that at least Nigerians are really embracing the
and we will continue to use our platforms to push the right message. When we return, we'll look through the top stories. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. We're starting off the newspaper review with The Punch. Major headline: Buhari, APC, PDP reacts as Lawan Gbadabiamila emerges National Assembly leaders. Senators will be my bosses. That's from Senate President Lawan. Speaker promises reforms, says reps will shake the table. Okay, so we're expecting a whole lot of, at least we can push that one away and then move on.
Will be my bosses.
Yes.
Right, I'd like to see that.
Other news: herdsmen attempt to abduct Ondo monarch. Police nab one. Drunk driver crushes 3 siblings. Motorcyclist to death in Lagos. Market raised as Yoruba Hausa youths clash in Osun State. Protest over 5 months detention of students who criticized Madonna Varsity. Sell Ajaokuta steel firm. Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, others tell federal government it's bad for anyone to brand June 12 struggle a Yoruba project. That's from Wole Soyinka. Afe Babalola wants presidents and governors inaugurated on Democracy Day, that is the June 12th. Nigeria will continue to experience sluggish recovery, says Fitch. So we have so many stories to take
Human
in.
interest.
Madonna University.
Yes, let's start with the university.
So about 6 students of the Madonna University put up a post, I think in February, about mismanagement of their school, saying that they do not have capable hands to handle the school. Now, the school management now wrote a petition to the police that they were criminals and they should be picked up, accused them of cybercrime. 6 of them have been in prison since February. So yesterday they decided to decided to take the matter to the High Court, Federal Court in Awka, Anambra State. So they protested, blocked the entrance of the court, that they are giving the court 7 days to release those children who are still in
So
cells.
there was no bail?
No bail. A lot of their parents have been going to the Vice Chancellor to plead to release their children, but he is saying that go and read Hail Mary. When you are done with Hail Mary, you come back. When you come back, he said, even if you bring the president, nobody will beg me to release these children.
It's so
I think
sad.
it's unfair. I really do not know the full details of what transpired, but these are people's children. Some of them are already missing out in their NYSC.
Oh,
It's painful.
really sad.
So
Another very sad story.
really sad story. So this driver, his name is, well, I didn't
Awe.
get his name.
Awe.
Ademola Awe.
His name is Awe.
Okay, so he's the driver of Sachet Water, what we call pure water producing company. And on this particular day in Ekpe, he was driving, allegedly drunk as well, and he hit a car. And in order to escape that accident scene, he turned off his headlights and ran into a motorcyclist with 3 siblings on it. And
all of them died.
and crushed
So-
them.
so it's-
all of them. So
what
he
they
was
say-
trying to, first of all, he was drunk and driving, and then trying to escape the first scene of accident, turned off his headlights at night, so the other victims didn't see him.
didn't know that
and
he
he
was
crushed
coming.
them. So what do we do to somebody like that?
I don't know.
Oh my God!
I don't know the legal side, though, but I know that definitely there's manslaughter and there's murder. So, and he's culpable of both of them. So, apart from the fact that he was contravening many traffic rules of drinking and turning off his light at night, those three innocent.
Is not enough.
So my challenge, but that's one side. Another side is we've said this over and over again. You shouldn't have more than one person on a bike. You know, we shouldn't have, because if one person falls off, it probably would be easier to handle or falling off. But there are three people, so it was more like everybody, even including the motorcycle.
You know what?
I'm happy there wasn't jungle justice though, because he was arrested, and we're hoping that it will be made. Yes, will take its course.
The law has to take its course, and it has to be a full course, in fact, because this is insane. 3 siblings.
My heart goes out to the family of those.
The mother, the father.
It's really sad. Moving on to the Vanguard. Don't worry, we're going to take the major story here. We know there's no other story. It's the National Assembly. So the 9th National Assembly leadership, how Lawan Gbaja, others emerge winner. Lawan floors Ndume in Senate. Gbaja defeats Bago to emerge speaker. Omo Agege beats Ekwere Madu with 68 votes to emerge deputy president. And Senate adjourns till tomorrow. President congratulates Lawan and Gbaja. So that is what we're taking here. Though we also have other stories. Buhari's government driving Nigeria towards disaster, instability coming from our former president Obasanjo. JAMB approves cutoff mark for 2019 and 2020. MNJTF alerts parents, leaders of ISWAP recruitment plan. So I noticed that our audience, you guys were chuckling when you heard what the former president said. Is it that you don't believe what he said?
Please tell us what he said.
Because what he said was that the current administration is leading Nigeria towards instability and disaster. Quoting him, saying that the economy isn't growing. It's as if we're taking 1 step forward and taking 2 steps back. Sometimes the only step we're taking is sideways, so there's no progress. And with this sort of crisis on ground, there will be disaster.
Oh,
okay,
God.
so somebody said that today, but that's what he's saying. So you said you have the retirement.
Yes,
Take
I
the
actually
story
have
first.
I actually have the Obasanjo story.
You want to give us more details?
Yes.
Okay.
So part of what he was saying was that nobody has confidence in the economy right now. That because the economy is in shatters right now, and he also stated that. All that has been saved for years have been frittered away in certain, over some years now.
Yeah, he mentioned the fight against corruption that he pioneered has been watered down.
Yes,
Please,
that was part of what he said
The
as well.
Multinational Joint Task Force has uncovered plans that ISWAP, that's the Islamic State of West Africa, who has pledged allegiance to Boko Haram, will be doing massive recruiting. So that they are advising parents, religious leaders, community leaders to please make sure that they monitor their children to avoid them being recruited into Boko Haram. So I just think everybody's eyes should be
aware.
open.
And they use a lot of social media, and they use
propaganda,
small gatherings of, they promise you jobs and promise you all of that, and they are actually recruiting for.
Another major one is the JAMB cutoff mark. It's finally been announced. It's 160. That's what it's been. 160 now.
We need to talk about
Cutoff mark.
Yes.
That's for to gain admission into
university.
The public universities. Yes. Then for private universities, 140.
As in, is that what we have become?
And wait, calm down, I'm not done.
Some of us, we were scoring 200 plus and we're not getting.
I wrote it down here. So 120 for public polytechnics. 110 for private polytechnics, and 100 cutoff mark for College of Education. I wept when I saw this, because I remembered when we were going to school, it was from 200 and something, and then people were struggling to get in. Even at that, we still have a lot of half-baked graduates till today. Now we're having 160, 140, 110, 100.
So which one hurts more? Is it the fact that they have brought, to me, in my opinion, they have brought the cutoff mark down to be sort of commensurate with the sort of education we're getting. So it's not as if we're getting very fantastic education and preparing people well for these exams. They've just brought it down to that level. That's it.
So
it's not about the cutoff mark, really. It's about the state of our education,
honestly,
period.
It's not a hot topic, but I really believe that we should discuss it as a hot topic, where we discuss, we bring in education. What is the JAMB, what's JAMB supposed to do? It's really sad. Let's discuss the Lawan. So we have Gbajabiamila has been sworn in as a speaker.
Yes.
Lawan has been sworn in as the Senate president.
Congratulations.
Omo Agege won as the deputy Senate president. And we are
Idris Wase.
won as the deputy speaker. So
House of
as it is right now, we now can get to work
Abio.
expectedly, and we are going to set agenda for you guys, not today.
You know what I would say about this?
Because you will not go there and be chopping and collecting all this money without doing your work.
Yeah, Toko, in this particular administration, they've had it two ways. So the first 4 years, you had it with like a legislature, the legislative arm that was not, you know, not united. You were not in good terms with. So now here is another opportunity to work it the way that you say it would work.
That is why we are watching
we are
them now.
watching you.
So
you have no excuse. You are doing two options.
Before we run off, last paper, The Nation, major headline, Lawan, I'll be fair to all. Yeah. And Gbajabiamila promises to shake tables. We're looking out for that. And every other story we've actually taken, Tinubu says why June 12 is important and significant. Soyinka also mentioned how we shouldn't make this an ethnic thing. And I want to just emphasize that he's saying that June 12 is not about a region. It's not about the Southwest. It's about Nigeria coming together. And I think that we should focus on that. We'll go on a short break now. When we return, our next segment on youth empowerment and job opportunities. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. It's a known fact that universities are churning out a huge number of graduates, but our economy is short of employment opportunities for them. And the kind of jobs we even have are not good enough. Today on the show, we have a lawyer and a digital business specialist, Dr. Okpe Banwo. Welcome to the show once again. We've had you many times on the show. Yes. To join the conversation, you can call us on 070-8066-8014, or you can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Now, we have Nima in the building. Before I come to you, and I just need to give you the floor because it is obvious from the way you came in that you have been through a lot this morning.
Through hell.
Every day I say this on the show. So I live on the Badagry Expressway axis of Lagos, and since Monday, actually, because of the little rain, the road has been taken over by trucks, and the authorities cannot lie that they don't know what we've been going through on that side of the road. There are videos, pictures, people tagging the present governor, tagging everybody. Last man, I make calls. And this morning, yesterday I had to take my son to the hospital, and I took public transport because I couldn't drive out of my community into the express. And this morning, it was worse than ever because they completely double-packed trucks and tankers. The depot at Ijegun took over the front of the local government and took over the entire road. I keep saying it on this table that on that side of town, we don't have government. And we don't feel government. We don't feel government pulse, nothing. There's like if there's a fire, we don't expect that there will be a quick response. If there's a siege on the road, we can't expect anything to happen. And when we say it like that, it seems like you're just against. No. There should be a response that people can at least use to attest that government is doing something. We can't just continue paying taxes, living on that side of town, and seem like everything is failing. Loma is failing. Everything is completely abandoned.
I'm happy that, you know, God gives us opportunity for times like this. Because imagine if we don't have you on the show. We won't have, nobody would experience it. And until you wear the shoe, you won't know where it pinches. For someone to go through it, we'll be able to say it better. And that's why I just allowed you to express. Because the point is that area is abandoned. And we know that our governor that has come in now has said he would pay attention to every area of Lagos. We're expecting something to be done into that area.
On a lighter note, quickly, before you jump in, Nima looks so beautiful without makeup. I think we should be having 1 week no makeup day on the show.
That would be nice. Yeah, everybody. Come on. Imagine he's just looking for trouble. Please, there's unemployment in town, right? Yes. Everybody knows somebody that is looking for work, right? Exactly. So, how and we know you've been doing something on this for a while. Can you tell us what this project is about? This your youth empowerment project?
Thank you so much. And I think this time, before we even dwell so much into what I'm doing, I think we need to approach the problem of unemployment in Nigeria, and I've been shouting this for 3, 4, 5 years, on a fundamental level. We are training our youths to be unemployed. Let me put it that way. Because all you do for them, we give them education, but nobody is talking to them about how they will market those skills or how they will make money with those skills. Even when the government, the federal government tried to do this empower thing that they are doing, and I think it's a great idea, but it's still with the same old mindset where people are being trained and just being given skills without the money in their pocket. So you have curriculum. So if we are going to solve the mass scale, we've got millions of unemployed. So we really have what I call an emergency in the youth sector for employment. Because when people come out of university, okay, more than 70% of them have no prospect of getting a job, and they're not going to get one in the next 5 years.
70%?
Yes, I train them, I work with them. You can poll them right there. They'll tell you. Why is that? Because you have a shrinking economy. Businesses are not growing. And we're training people the same way they used to train them in my father's days and in my days.
Oga, you just touched me.
In these days and age where there's globalization of using services, we're not training our people. Let me even start with you journalists. Let's just start right there. Journalists are still being trained the way they were trained 30 years ago, 20 years ago. So you have the same, if you hold 10 papers together, they all have the same story. Why is that? They copy each other because there is no creativity in how they earn income with their writing. Yet, there's maybe thousands of sites out there that will pay somebody to write. Okay, so you have journalists who work for 4 or 5 months, they're not getting paid, when they could publish one article and get $200 from it. Who is training them how to do that? So when you go to journalism schools, is that part of the curriculum? No. How to market your journalistic skills? Some of this training take less than a day. So coming back, so I think fundamentally, if we really want to solve the problem of unemployment, we need to go at it from even the school curriculum.
No. Talking about the school, sir.
Yes.
I mean, you said that we're being trained now like we were 30 years ago. I think you're being very generous because right now we just read about the cutoff mark
For JAM.
I'm not even talking of intelligence. I'm not even talking about...
It's not even intelligence now. It's education. They're going to be tested based on the education that they get. And now they're saying that all you need to get is 100. You know, to get into school. So that is a different crop of people, you know, of students that are coming out, of people who will be joining the labor market.
It even makes it worse.
That's what I was saying.
In terms of the kind of, but those type of people, and it brings to bear what I'm saying. So now we know, all of us know it. I hire lawyers. I'm a lawyer. I have a law firm. I hire lawyers. I know the quality is so much poorer than what it was just 20 years ago. But those same lawyers, because now the bar to make major money with the little skills you have is so low. Internationally, take for instance, somebody read English. Many of the people who read English today, you tell them to write a page, they probably just embarrass you, even the one with a 2-1. But that same person can get on the internet and become a proofreader for a global market without even knowing how to speak good English, because he uses Grammarly, he uses software. Put your English there, Grammarly will give them the well-connected, well-written, correct grammar.
You told us this thing last time.
Yes. So we need to go to what I call the e-power. We have Empower. That is a misnomer because Empower goes through the same thing, teaches them skills, and they are still unemployed. Okay. But when you go through e-power, where you are teaching them to market their skills on a global scale, now it's a whole different ballgame.
Let's talk about employers insisting on certification as against skill. So you put a person to test, and the person actually has the skill. Maybe learning it, maybe running a family, or learning it on learning it on not in an academic environment. But this person is skilled. Let's talk about, for instance, if I were as a firefighter daughter could actually put off a fire, I had that skill. But I have a certificate in law. That would disqualify me because somebody would just say, that's not what we're looking for. You need certification. Why are employers insisting on this certification? And then we fault JAM for dropping the cutoff. When certification is all this economy lives on.
Again, it goes back to still doing the same thing with the same old mindset.
Exactly.
They are not tying they are not tying the value of an employee to the income it generates for the business, but they are tying to the level of education or certification that he has. And that's why we are all messed up. So we have these youths, we send them out there. If only somebody are taking time, maybe in their final year or second year, to teach them how to market their skills, they won't need to look for a job. I'll give you a very simple example. We started this program.
I'll take that example then.
Yes.
After the break. We'll take a quick break now. When we come back, you give us step by step how people watching right now can do something small using the
Power.
e-power.
Okay.
Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thank you for staying with us. So before we went on a break, you were talking about, you were trying to give examples, practical examples of how people can still use this boycotting our bad educational system and earn money without the opportunities available in e-power. So can you break it down a bit more?
Yes. Actually, with the way the whole global economy is linked now, you find out that most people are actually going online to look for basic skills that they need. And number two, and there's software for practically everything. I have on this program, which I'm going to talk about in a second, somebody who doesn't even speak German, okay, who is doing like $3,000-4,000 a month, translate as a German translator. He doesn't even speak German. So what he does is get the software that translates from any language into German. So he gets the order, he puts it in his software, German comes out on the other end, he delivers it, gets paid his money. So regardless of his level of even education, as long as he can learn how to use that software in less than 10 minutes, he can do that work. So, and I've been talking this thing for 3 years, and I'm not getting governments, because if governments can embrace what I'm talking about at the level it should, it costs them less, it increases their IGR, and it solves the unemployment problem almost on a permanent level. Right now, we have Npower. Maybe they're talking 10, 20,000. I see Npower, whatever. They're going to train 3,007 people, 2,000. So I started this program in the last 4 weeks, okay, out of frustration. I called it the Digital Works Africa Project. The idea behind it is that we want to instigate 10 million jobs over the next 10 years. When people hear that, they say, that's too ambitious. And I'm like, I could do this in a year. Why is that? Because what the average person needs to do, and my goal is, if you can get them to $2,000 a month, they are okay. From there, they can grow. What the average person needs to get himself to $1,000, $2,000 a month is less than 3 days training. So I started this thing called Digital Works Africa Program just to prove the point, where I'm giving 10,000 scholarships to people all over Africa, not just Nigeria, because I have Kenyans in there, I have people from South Africa and all that, because I feel that they are even more responsive to this idea that I'm pushing. And what do we do there? We teach them 8 skills, but not the way the Empower team does it. The skills are directly tied to income, so that even within a week, we teach each subject over a 2-week period. Like this week now, we're teaching e-commerce, last week and this week. How people can sell products on a global level that they don't own to people they will never meet without investing any money. And in 3 or 4 days, you see people doing business on AliExpress, doing $400, $500. We have a page, by the way, that people can go verify. They post their screenshots of their income, that they make. So, and anybody can register. It's free, okay? And the website is digitalworksafrica.org.
Okay.
That's good, sir. I'm excited about this internet. I would have asked the question on education because I'm passionate about it, but because of time, let's focus on the internet. Okay. I know that you can actually live on the internet and do a lot there. But we have our youths, most of them, who are just on the internet to go around social media, trolling people, you know, going on Facebook, looking for trouble one way or the other. They have the money to buy the data. And then they come to you, they have the very expensive phones, and they tell you they do not have a job. So this is a good opportunity for them to make money if they are serious. But my question is, how ready do you think our Nigerian youths are to adopt this?
The Nigerian youths are desperate. Let me put it that way. No, they're just not having direction, okay? Like you said, they're already on the internet. They already have the phones, okay? All they need, and I've challenged even TVC, okay? You are very responsive to the public. You've got plenty of free hours. If you do a 5-day empowerment session for these people, how to use their phone, The same
make
social
money.
media. I make money on Facebook every day.
Wow.
I make money on Instagram every day. And it is so ridiculously simple, but they don't know that.
So getting
If somebody
information.
teach them, yes, if you teach them, they won't
Yeah,
have time to
I
go and be
get you.
fighting over Buhari or Atiku on Facebook. They'll be busy making money.
So I'll just take one question from someone within the audience right now. Do you have a question relating to him? Please go ahead.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
I've been following you, and of course, I can verify that what you are saying is true. I would just like you to tell us how, because some of these training, once they get it, and the softwares, I know that the software, they may need to do a little investment to get those softwares.
Most of the software are even free.
So-
we teach it.
So how, just let us know more, how accessible and easy are these programs for people? Because
But
a
you
lot
see, the
don't
thing is, he's already, Dr. Kwebanwo is all over the internet. He's an internet man. So funny enough, this information would preferably be accessible to him when you reach out to him. But any other question on what we can give? Okay, it's still the same question. How to get, every time you come on the show, everybody wants to get your phone number. Everybody wants to get your
They
contact.
don't need my phone. This is
Twitter,
where I'm
just
going.
say, let's-
I won't even respond to you if,
Okay,
if,
so
you, if
Twitter.
I get thousands of calls every day.
Twitter.
And I'm saying they don't need that. I live on WhatsApp. I'll give you my WhatsApp number.
Are you on Twitter?
I'm on Twitter.
What's your Twitter handle?
I don't even tweet. I don't need to tweet.
At
My
least so they can get your details.
I have
in a
my
way
Twitter
that's
handle, but like I said, my social media is integrated. I do it from Facebook and it goes everywhere.
Okay.
But my Twitter is Okwebanwo,
Okay.
simple. My Facebook is Okwebanwo too.
Okwebanwo. So-
Instagram is Okwebanwo. You can find me. But the best place to find me, like I said, is WhatsApp. But you don't even need me. I'm not anybody's savior. My own is just to show you the way, and I've told you what to do
exactly.
here. Number one, you can go.
We can't spoon feed it. Let them
Yes.
go to Okweb.
And
Everybody, if you want to enjoy the privileges that you would get from this training, do the work. You know, invest that your small data that
Exactly.
you have, and go and meet, search for him and get, because the opportunities are there. He's been here on the show many times before and giving us an idea of how this thing can work. Many people still reach out to us and say they're hungry. Now I know who I'll send them to. I mean,
I will even respond. Let me tell you what you can do on your own. It's very easy.
Okay.
Apart from, we still have about 4,000 spaces left in the digitalworksafrica.org program. Just register, it's free, and then you get in there. But beyond that, just sit down yourself, decide what you want to do. Let's say you want to make money with Instagram. You don't need a Okwebanwo to do that. You Google that, how to make money on Instagram. There are thousands of sites where people have already written articles what to do. Take the
Read,
first five, read the first five,
research,
research
feel
and
your
make your
hustle.
notes, and then execute it. How hard can it be?
it's really simple, my brother.
can it be?
We just need to read more.
Yes.
Thank
You're
you
a
so
journalist,
much.
you can write. You want to
Yeah.
make money with your writing. How to make money with my articles. The thing will drop. Complete.
Very easy. Thank you so much for coming. We'll take a quick break now. When we return, we'll discuss we have a very juicy hot topic and we want to involve our audience. You guys said we should make it juicy for you. Just stay with us. We'll get very, very juicy topic for you. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Okay,
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. Recently, a lady took to our Instagram page advising parents to welcome home their daughters from a failed marriage. She added that a divorced daughter is better than a dead daughter. Do you agree with her? Join the conversation by calling us on 070-8066-8014. Tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can hear from you. Now, this is, a lot of people replied under this message. You know, a lot of people were pouring out their heart that, oh, my own parents were welcoming. Oh, my own parents were this one. Another person went, oh, my parents did not allow me. They were saying I should endure and stay true. But because I know that we chose this topic deliberately for our audience, and I'm happy that we have a lot of women here. So I want to start with you guys, actually. I want you to express, for you as a woman, what was, for those that are married, is anybody ready to talk that is married? No woman married. They are thinking about it. Obiajulu, start.
Okay. That's putting me on the spot. Okay, but it's fine. I know that I wouldn't blame some of the parents that don't want to welcome you home, because you know, the way we are in Africa, the marriage is not just for the child, it's for the parents as well. So it's, it's something of pride for you as a parent that your children are married off and they're doing well in their husbands' homes. And then after a while, your friends will now start seeing the same person who probably staying in Kaduna with the husband at home with you, and they are beginning to question and tongues are wagging. What happened? Did they kick her out of the house and all of that? So it tends to put pressure on the parents, and that's one of the reasons because for them it's you have to just stay. It's marriage now. Do you know what I endured with your father? Just stay and make it work. But I think it's being unfair to the children because you really do not know what they are going through. As a parent, I would want to have an open mind. I would advise you, you know, but if I see that it's a situation where you're not able to, auntie, please come back home. Don't kill yourself there, you know. So we should just try to find that balance for our children, basically. I'm talking as a mother now.
Yeah. I don't even know where this started from, and I don't even understand the rationale behind it. It does not matter where they are, school, marriage, outside the country, at work, the person is out, the person is not in a happy place, and the person comes back home. You're here home to your parents, to your mother.
Your home.
Yeah.
When you're married.
No. Where your
the culture is your home. Is
your
no
mother.
With your parents.
You're going back. Your mother and your father's house. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. That should even be the first place that you go to, where you'll be received with open arms, and then whatever can be decided upon, whatever can be discussed from there. But first, let that person know that I have a safe place that I can go to. I have a place that constantly, unconditionally, I'll be received and I'll be loved. I really don't know where this comes from. Africa and our tradition and our culture, I think we really need to look into it. So Nima is sitting on 2 chairs right now. She's sitting on the tradition and cultural chair to help us understand.
And the law chair.
And you're sitting on the Islamic chair. What is the regard? What's the expectation? No, but for law, it's pretty straightforward now. I don't think there's anybody that knows that you are going through battery. He's an accomplice if he doesn't give you a safe battery.
Even though I'd like to be discussing Junto today, because I really experienced Junto as a child. For me, the world has gone past where going back to your parents. Because women these days are even more empowered than our mothers. I would prefer that even if your parents were not, if you're in a bad situation, plan and strategically move out.
Bang.
So parents welcome you, they did not welcome you, do not stay. So personally, recently I received a call from a friend who's talked to me about being in a very difficult marriage. And she decided that, why take the problem to my parents? And truly, she was correct because she moved and we've not been able to find her. But she calls regularly and says, I'm fine. And with my kids, I've planned myself, I'm doing well where I am. And she didn't take the problem back home because her aged father was the first point of attack for the husband. So if you know you're being disrespected, why bring the disrespect home? As an adult, take charge if you're in a bad marriage. And it's the story for most women I've dealt with. You take it home, and then he comes and looks your parents in the face, but I'm going to beat you up and attack and all those kind of...
You get locked up.
Deal with it fully. Let this person know that in this marriage, this rubbish I'm getting, I'm going to reject it. The way I see life, I'm going to reject it, and I'm going to reject it well. You will not find me, you will not find your children. But that problem, I will not take. No, hold on a minute.
That's being harsh.
No, but that's the truth. Because sometimes in marriage, the person who is selfishly doing you this will continue with your children if you have children. And the fear of most women is, how do I protect my children? That's the fear most of them have. So they go to the government agencies that I usually refer to, and they're still concerned about what will happen to my children Islamically. And I like to mention it and emphatically mention it here. The verses of the Quran on divorce are clear on maintenance. They are very clear. So a man cannot say, I'm not, and a man cannot padlock his wife, so to say. There's this, I've forgotten the Arabic word for it, where men will just abandon the woman, provision, maintenance, and even sexual relations in a marriage and say, just be there. Up to that particular need of emotions, the woman is entitled to demand for it. And within that period of time, she can establish divorce based on that. And the man is now compelled, where there are children, to maintain that woman after she's done with her 3 months waiting period. So she will do her waiting period and she will leave, and you will still maintain her because your children are in her care until they attain puberty. It's clear what Islam says, but you see there when they come, people just argue emotions.
The thing is
blindly.
our culture, especially in the Yoruba culture, there's a word called dalemosu. That means a married woman that's come back and is living in the parents' house. Is not accepted, it's frowned upon. It is a sign of lack of proper training for the woman. That is the fact.
I know.
So if a woman comes back home, people look at your parents and they didn't do a good job in raising you. If they raised you well, you will find a way to make it work. So how do we now tell those parents now who are busy advising their daughters that be patient?
Okay, may I quickly just settle this? Because I grew up hearing Dale Moshu, and women Dale Moshu in my estate where I live. The particular successful first bank worker, she did what she needed to do and raised her 2 children and later got married. The word Dale Moshu was supposed to be a negative word to tell an empowered woman to stay put in a bad marriage. It wasn't like the culture frowned at it. Women just use it to make a woman stay put in a bad situation.
And suffer it.
So if you're convinced about it, it's still the same thing those people used to do those days. Most women didn't go back, except the troublesome one had to go back home, and then they became a problem onto family. Most women that decided, I must go, I will make it work, they will leave that environment and start afresh on their own. Yes.
We have a call. Sandra from Festac. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the show.
I'm calling.
You're a first-time caller.
Woo!
Welcome to the show. Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Are you married?
No, I'm not.
Oh, please go ahead.
Okay. Actually, I'm calling in respect to the topic for today. The one that has to do with should our parents receive the daughters that are divorced?
Okay.
Okay, actually, the first question should be, why divorce? And secondly, I don't think you should be taking it back to the parents because it's shameful, sincerely speaking. I heard the first person actually saying that our parents will tell us endure, endure, endure. If actually they will tell you that, that means you had the opportunity to learn that you needed to endure in your marriage. Marriage is not a bliss, it's not a rosy thing.
Wow.
You understand? Sometimes we think it's the way we entered it during the wedding that would keep us in the marriage. It only takes the grace of God. Sincerely speaking, I don't wish to be in that shoes, but I believe by God's grace that He will help us to understand.
Then you endure battery.
Okay, so I think we should, for Sandra,
please say that.
Obiajulu, for Sandra, I think we need to maybe make it clear that, of course, marriage is not a bed of roses, as they say, that you will have problems. But there are some challenges. But we have some challenges that we are advising. We sit down here and we speak about it every day. Do not stay in a marriage where you're physically abused.
Even emotionally abused.
Even emotionally abused, but physically you're hit. We have spoken about women here on this table who have died because they decided to endure with a man who hit them so much. You know, there's this joke that actually goes around, that's been going around social media. They said the Nigerian married woman, she would say, oh, this man has beat me, I'm dead now, should I still stay? Even in her death, she's still asking if she should still stay. So there are some times where you have to go, and divorce is better than death.
I think women should be empowered to know that endurance is not, there's a time to endure, and it depends on what you can endure. But endurance is not why you're getting into marriage. So if you get into an environment that is choking you, that would likely take your life, you say you should sit down there and endure. But that's by the way. When I was getting married, I remembered my father saying, come on, there's no room here. Stay in your husband's house. There is no space for you here. So I got into my marriage with the mindset that I'm going to make this work. But even if anything happens and it doesn't work, I'm not going back home. I can take care of myself. I can get an apartment. I can, so I got into marriage with that strength to empower myself in marriage. And that's what we are going to be telling young people.
That's
so
one side.
in as much as you are making your marriage work, don't just leave yourself and feel anything can happen.
That's one side.
Never can say.
There's another side. Under this comment, under this particular post, one woman said that when she was getting married, her father took the mic and told her husband that, I am leaving her room intact. If you maltreat my daughter in any way, I will come and carry her back. She is my daughter. She's well taken care of. So there is this feeling of the man knows that the family I'm marrying into, they're not pushing the daughter away. She's not left alone helpless. Sometimes it's not just the come to the house, it's the feeling of I'm confident because I have parents that would have my back. So it's not like that saying the daughter to go back to the house. It's that my mom will not push me away.
But
so our parents should not push. When women come and complain to you, you see that at the end of this show, what I want people to know, our older people watching, is that when your daughter comes to tell you that she's in pain, she's suffering, don't push her, don't abandon her, because if she comes to meet you, it means that she's already here.
You know what?
But
I want to even say that you care for a child, you love her from when she was small, and then she gets married, and all of a sudden it stops. It doesn't. I mean, I can't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me.
I've seen. Okay, I had a divorce in my firm that I'm dealing with, and the family of the girl never understood why she wanted a divorce, because the spouse didn't practically punch her physically. That's why I said emotionally. But this lady was this close to running mad. This close. It was a detention camp. She was going crazy, but she had no scars.
No physical scars.
Let's take this call. Good morning, welcome to the show. Oh,
and then the parents were the ones who would call the husband and say, don't worry, she's just acting childish. She'll come back.
Imagine.
So he didn't do anything. He didn't change the way he treated her. Anything.
So as a parent, it's very important. We are young parents now. We're having our children. We understand this. But they are women who are in that shoe that they know that there is no space for them at home already. And that cannot be changed. So what do you tell them to do? They need to learn how to prepare themselves in case anything happens. But for the upcoming parents who are having children out there, if you stand behind, because I remember there was a relation of mine whose husband was beating her up, and then she went home and she called her brothers. If you see the giants that came, when they looked at the man,
that was
they say, if you ever touch this girl, that was the last day that battery stopped, because he knew that she had people behind. You know, so let's just stand behind our children.
We really need to go on a break. We need to go on a break. We really need to go on a break. But you know, we've said it all. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. She's a senior communications executive with 20+ years experience, a strong track record of building the communication and function teams at some of the world's leading multinationals operating in Africa. Welcome first, Patricia Obozwa. It's good to have you. Your profile is like, I'm like this. I was wondering, what are they going to give me? What are they going to give me? But you have been through a lot in terms of your professional career. You know, the switch from accounting to art to communication and rising. Like you're not a small woman. Somebody. You're not a small somebody. You know. Yes, you're a big madam.
Amongst us.
we need to. And you are the women we love. We do this once a month, and we just want to profile women achieving great stuff, because we need to let people see what role models should be, as opposed to you following just any celebrity, you know. But what role models should be. So, I'm sure you listened to our previous conversation. So let me just quickly tie it in to ask your opinion. What is your take on parents welcoming their children back home? What should it be? Obiajulu was saying even the girls should be empowered enough to, whether parents want or not, she can move on her own. But I'm of the opinion that the parents welcoming gives this sense of confidence and helps to empower that woman to make the decision. Where do you stand?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. My view on this, it's, you know, I want every marriage to work. But if it's not working, it's an emotionally trying time, probably one of the worst experiences that a woman can have. Some people are strong and some people have planned it out. They, you know, saved some money, they're going to get an apartment, but situations are not always perfect. For those people who just don't have it together, the least they can expect is just their support system to be there to back them and help them through that kind of experience. the parents really should take them back. And
It's
it
a
shouldn't
no-brainer.
be, and it shouldn't even be debated. They should be able to go back to their homes. I want them to be in a marriage, but if it's not working, whether it be abusive or otherwise, for whatever reason, they should be able to go back to their support system.
Thank you. Thank you.
What should
That's my
be,
view.
but not what is.
So, focusing on your career, can
Yes.
you take us through your journey? You know, I see many people, we have a problem in Nigeria where a lot of people end up studying courses that they can't use it. They don't even know how to use it. Or more like everybody's doing biz admin. What business do you want to administrate? They don't know. You know, like they just go and study biz admin. Oh, I'm doing accounting. What do you want to account
for?
They are just studying accounting. But you've been able to make that move consistently. What's the mindset? What was your journey like for someone who is there with a course, with a graduate that has a certificate and wondering, what do I want to do with this?
Well, first of all, I wish someone had asked me that question then. What do you want to account? Because I was good with figures, but I never really thought about accounting and what I'll do with it in future. But then your parents kind of wanted you to do a professional course. So you picked one. And for me, figures, okay, I'll do that. But when I was done doing my NYSC and I was working in a securities company, I knew that it wasn't the thing for me. And so I never really pursued it much further. And then I had this opportunity where somebody was opening an art gallery and they wanted someone. I didn't have a job. And I thought, this is as good a job as any. Some people thought that, are you going to be a receptionist? It's just one table and chair I'm sitting in this office. You can
It
call
was
it
a
an office.
connection. Because I read your story, that art gallery gave you major connection to people. Can you share with us your experience of how you built, you served, and that opened other avenues for you?
Well, first of all, I think it's important that you, in every place you find yourself, treat that as your seed. That's what you have, and that's what's going to get you where you want to go. And pay the kind of attention, have dignity in whatever you're doing. And pay the kind of attention to it, do it with excellence, put your all into it, because that's what you have.
I'd like you to talk about what you did to self-develop, because accounting and arts, they're two worlds apart. That's the truth. A lot of people who have a degree and wonder. Recently, I was talking to someone and she said, I've checked. I sent her an employment link, and she said, I've checked. There's nothing for economics on the employment. I was like, they look for something you think you can do and try to sell yourself. And she didn't get it. I was like, just keep looking at it and see whether there's a way you can bring something. There has to be somehow a way you had to develop yourself on your own, and that's advantage you were able to bring into what you do now.
I don't know. Well, necessity is the mother of invention, I hear. And I needed a job. I took a job. I've never been one of those people that can see themselves 5 years from now or 10 years from now.
Thank you.
Well,
You
maybe
speak my
these
language.
days a bit more than then. But it was just, what's the next thing I can do that...
What do you have right now?
Exactly. What do I have right now? And my faith is very important to me. I go deep in prayer to work out what to do next. But I know that that's not a very practical thing to share if people want to hear the tips. But it's really excelling at that thing I'm doing. Now, moving from art, I went to British Council. They gave me a lot more exposure. But at some point, I knew that I took an audit, basically, of myself and realized that I'd kind of outgrown that job. So what do you want to do next? I usually know what I want to do next. So I thought I want to get into communications proper, because what I'd been doing at the gallery and the British Council was really about building image of those places. So I started learning to write. But the important thing for me is I would do a job without getting paid for it. Because I know that it can take me to the next place. So there was a publicity officer at the British Council, but I knew I wanted to learn communication. So I said, you know what, why don't I write all my own articles for my arts programs, do my own website posts and all that, and you just have a look and correct it. Of course, she was happy I could help her. But then she was teaching me and I was learning.
You were doing a job and you were growing yourself.
Yeah, but she was very gracious as well. She wasn't very territorial, so she was happy to
To help.
to teach me
So
as well.
you've mentioned excellence like 15 times. And when I was reading the research on you, I saw that that was one of the key things that has moved you forward. Now, I have a problem with young people that I see these days. They don't want to go outside their scope. So, for instance, you are in an environment and you're asked to do this job. This is your job. But then there's a slot to do something else, maybe just to help. And no, this is just my space. So this is not my job. And you see them. While you have a few others, very few, who would go the extra mile to even do more than they are paid for. In this climb, we don't have people who volunteer. They don't, if it's not, yes, I've not seen, no. If you're not getting something out of it, they don't want to do that. But I know that one of the ways that you can grow is through volunteer. So you build capacity. Your CV is heavy. Like, I don't know how many years it's going to take me to get your kind of CV. But what do you advise to young people out there who want to grow, but then they do not go outside their scope to help?
Well, first of all, I see, I meet a lot of young people. Some, like you said, feel entitled, but some really want to grow and are willing to put in what they need to grow. But my advice for young people is the same advice to older people. It's set a high standard for yourself. You can't set a high standard by just getting by with the least you can possibly do. You set a very high standard in everything you do so that you can set yourself apart from, your peers, the competition.
Yeah. You just said something. You say to young people as well as old people.
Well, not older. I mean,
but older people. And that's the thing. Sometimes we have a lot of programs to empower youths, to teach youths. But I know a lot of people who are not young, they're older and they want to change careers. They want to do something else. They've made mistakes in their youth and they found themselves at this age now and they don't know where to go to or where to turn. Do you have advice? Because I'm looking at you, you have changed careers, you've built yourself on your own without necessarily going to like a proper school for some of these changes you made. Do you have any advice for someone old and willing to change careers or start to build themselves and move away from their past mistakes?
Well, first of all, it's never too late to change. Everybody can start again. And I talk a lot about personal branding. Sometimes you need to rebrand yourself in the same way that you brand a product. But the very important thing is the mindset. Just to know that it's just not too late. The fact that you're alive means you can still do something new.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you concerning this blow. You know, we have this this desire for blow. We want to make money. Oh, people are doing internet fraud. We say you should not call it Yahoo Yahoo again, so that people know that this is a negative thing. You're committing fraud on the internet. And we have people that are doing the other Yahoo Plus, which is that you are killing people, you know, to make money. So people are doing a whole lot of negative things just to acquire the look of, I am wealthy, I have money. And when they see people like you, they feel she has money. Why would she talk about volunteering for free? Well, if me too, I'm like her. I will work for free now. But this isn't what you started from. So can you walk us through that? Walk us through that journey of how how to bear with the income. What was the income flow like when you were growing? Did you have financial challenges? Somebody is probably watching and will be motivated by whatever you have to say, even while working for British Council.
Do you guys have time? So, obviously, I didn't start with a high income. When I started working in the gallery, I was earning 6,000 naira a month, believe it or not. It doesn't sound, it's not as bad as it sounds. It was better then, but it was a very low salary. But I could get additional income if I brought in sales and made a commission, which I went out of my way to make sure I did. It was the first time I made that link between extra efforts and earning more.
Money. Let me just cut you, please.
Okay.
I have a call. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Please go ahead with your contributions.
Auntie, I want to talk about the first guest that came, you understand? You know, you wanted to tell us about the address, understand? You want to give us his address and how to get to reach him, WhatsApp number, but you make him cut the thing off.
Because he's not an advert, sir. His name is Okpe Banwo. His name is straightforward. Just put it
No, the
in.
website name. The website name.
And just to take his name and search for his name, you will see he's on Facebook, he's on Twitter as his name, and you get the details there.
Okay. Now, the second one about the second speaker that people said about the parents accepting their child when they are back home. Understand? But do you know that some parents that have told you I want their child about going to this marriage. Understand? Now, after your parents have warned you not to go to this marriage or don't be involved in this marriage, then you now have problems. Do you think that the parents will accept the person?
We must be loving. Thank you. That's a good one.
Yes.
We'll take a quick break now. When we return, we'll continue with the when we return, after this quick break, we'll continue with the conversation. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So before we went on the break, you were breaking down how your income was started at 6,000 naira and how you made the connection between working a little extra and earning something. Can you take us from there to the next phase of what were the challenges you went through?
Okay. Well, where income is concerned, I don't know that it's any. If you've ever been a student, first of all, you will know a lot about managing. And then I've always looked at the job, what's the next thing, and what can I put into it? And then manage what I have the best I can. It's never been enough till today. It's not enough.
We can see.
But, I think the important thing is to focus on what value you can bring. Continue to bring that value. Do it with excellence. Do it above par. Do it better than everyone else. And eventually, the money will come.
Start flowing.
Eventually, if you start focusing on a salary, then you're going to be jumping from one thing to the other, one job to the other. And very often, when you look at it long term, you've moved so many times and you're not doing better than you would have if you stayed in one place and really understood things
staying in one place,
for some time, enough to build a skill and show your ability. You need to be able to have accomplishments in a job that you can talk about to your next potential employer.
Very true.
And get something bigger.
Very, very true.
Or even within your own company that you're working for.
I'd like
I
to
would quickly. Okay, go ahead.
I'd like you to talk about your, if possible, if you had mentors, people who you probably looked up to, who you modeled your life.
We have a crisis on ground with this mentorship. People come and say, mentor me.
Yes.
But how important is it?
And how do you give it back, pay it forward?
Well, first of all, I think mentorship is very important. Everyone doesn't need to go through the same experiences to learn the same things. So if you have a mentor, you just kind of learn it quicker because that person has already gone through the experience. For me, I've never really had a formal mentor, but I've had several people that mentor me on different aspects, and sometimes it's my peers, sometimes it's a role model. So you don't have to look for the biggest name, and then everyone attacks the same person. I need you to be my mentor, I need you to be my mentor. There are some of your peers that are great at certain things that can mentor you. Like what I mentioned about at the British Council, the publicity manager, she mentored me on communications, but she was my peer.
Very true. Let's take this phone call. Amina is calling. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please go ahead with your contributions.
Please, I want to speak with Nima.
Hello.
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Please, I have an issue, but not concerning what people are saying right now.
Oh, okay. Would you want to reach out to her through social media? I think that would be better. Reach out to her. She's very responsive. So just talk to her on social media. She'll get back in touch with you.
Just send a DM.
Akashat Nima Ziberi. Yeah. Just Google her name. You'll see her social media handle. Thank you. So,
Good. Can I go?
Yes, please go ahead.
So, how was the influence your parents had over you growing up? You're a twin, right?
Yes, I
And
am.
your twin sister as well, because I know that sometimes children want to pick what their parents have been doing. So you have like a father who's a sportsman, and then you want to get into sports. How did they influence where you
Well,
are
my
today?
father was in the Nigerian police. I did not want to get into the Nigerian police. My mother was initially a teacher before she retired. I think it's the values that they instilled and the fact that I am one of the last from a large family, my sister and I. So there's so much accountability and you can't go the wrong way. There are people to check you.
Okay. I wanted to ask you concerning career and entrepreneurship, because there's this feeling some entrepreneurs have, like, oh, when you run a business, you don't know what it's like until you run a business. And some people feel like, let me challenge myself and do business. While I've seen many and I've been opportunity to meet many successful people through the career path, do you believe that, do you feel sometimes like I should have done entrepreneurship, or do you feel I'm on the right path? What's your take between becoming an entrepreneur and doing career, working all through?
But everyone doesn't have to do the same thing. Some people will be entrepreneurs and some will pick a career in a company. I have chosen that path for myself. And I think whatever you choose for yourself, you just need to excel. That's it. And it needs to be something that you're naturally good at. Otherwise, you're not going to be better than the next man and succeed.
Let's take a few tweets.
Okay, but while you're looking at the tweets, I just want to find out your education. A lot of people will say, well, for those who have been educated abroad, they have a certain accent, there's a certain way that they carry themselves. Maybe they appeal more to employers than for me who went through school in Nigeria and my sort of education. Is there really a difference for the opportunities that are available to people from that have different educational backgrounds like that?
I personally don't see those things. I studied in Obafemi Awolowo University in Ife. That's my degree. I don't have a master's in anything else. So I personally, I personally don't see whether you studied in Nigeria or whether you studied in another country. What I see is what you bring to the table.
Value.
You need to bring value and you need to do it with excellence. I don't care where you studied. If you can't bring to the job what's required for that job and take it the extra to an extra level, then you're not going to get further than the next person.
Sadly, we are out of time and the show is just about over, but you've dropped a whole lot of stuff. And I would really appreciate if anybody that wants to grow in their career should go back and watch this clip again, because you kept mentioning the importance of excelling in whatever we're doing. You started with your seed. Every job you do, see it as a seed. It doesn't have to be what you want to do, but give it your best. And I think that if you can just take these basic principles that she just said and apply it in any field of interest, you will definitely excel and succeed. Thanks again to you for coming. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Me.
Thanks to Cadbury Bonvita for giving us the drinks, to all our audience. Thanks to Cream Slices for giving us the cake. And thank you to our live audience in the studio. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you. For every one of you that are watching, we would like to join us next week, Wednesday. Just send your name, your phone number, and your picture to yourview@tvccommunications.tv, and we will be able to reach out to you subsequently. We want to have database of all our audience and then be able to schedule them so we don't have people waiting behind at any point in time. That's all we can take on today's show. Thanks again. Have a great day.